I think it would be safe to say that we live in the most craziest times of human history because the very way in which wars are fought have completely changed, right? Wars are no longer fought with missiles, tanks, ammunition, artillery guns, and frontline men. It is now rather fought using automated drones, lines of codes, deepfakes, misinformation, right? The very which way in which the wars were fought have completely changed. If you've been noticing the recent wars that have happened, um, if I have to take an example, let's take the Armenia-Azerbaijan war. So Armenia had a very conventional army with a lot of tanks, artillery guns, and so on, whereas Azerbaijan completely overpowered them, annihilated them using the Bayraktar TB2 drones, right?
Yep.
So the very which way in which wars are fought in this time, day and age has completely changed. This has put a lot of countries which has invested in a lot of these conventional weapons, they're actually shitting their pants right now because we're seeing the capabilities of drones, especially in the recent war which is ongoing in the Middle Eastern conflict. A mighty nation like America has been shaken by Iran, Shahid drone.
Yeah. So, like, when we think about the drones themselves, you were telling me about the Bayraktar drones, the TB2 drones. So these drones are actually like they're on some drugs because these drones are able to do barrel rolls. They're able to navigate back to their origins without the use of any GPS signals. So let's say if the adversaries blocked all the signals or trying to interfere with the transmission, they just look down, look at where they are. They're able to map where they are and go back home. So what I'm saying is things are drastically changing by the minute. There's a lot of different conventions being used in terms of technology. Things are reducing from man force to AI and automation and cybersecurity. Everything is being held into warfare as we know it is changing by the minute. So what I would like to start with is OpenAI and Claude's feud that's happening on right now. If you noticed, OpenAI has lost close to 300% of how much of the user base that they currently have just because of the agreement that happened recently. So what happened was last year around July 2025, Claude and the US government, Pentagon, had a deal going on that US's network services, the restricted ones, would be used by Claude for their purposes. And a year later, maybe around February this year, Pentagon wanted to take things further and they wanted the guardrails to be removed. They wanted all the ethical guardrails and just unrestricted use of Claude. And Claude had some time to think about it and they completely walked away from a $200 million contract, right? They walked away from it. They said they can't do this because it's against the constitutional AI use cases. And surprisingly so, an hour later or a few hours later, I think that night, OpenAI and Pentagon got into a deal, and Claude was labeled as a supply chain risk, which makes it like a huge problem for them to operate within the country because supply chain risks are usually labeled for companies that are outside of the country that, like for example, it would be used on Huawei or a company that's not exactly from America, right? So they label them as a supply chain risk and it became a huge issue for them in terms of like it was like a nuclear legal strike on them. And what happened was like things turned so drastically. Claude started getting like close to 200% more of a user base, and OpenAI lost all of it because what happens is these data that exist within OpenAI and Claude and whatever the government is using would be used for mass surveillance, would be used for kinetic warfare, and that's where Claude walked away from this.
Yeah. A moment of silence for all the people who took part in the Ghibli trend.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you just gave away your facial data to OpenAI's training dataset. They now have possibly millions of faces and they've trained their models on that.
Mass surveillance, you are being watched. And another big thing that happened last year was the misalignment which occurred between all the models that were trending at the time, which was Gemini, Grok, Claude, and OpenAI. So all of these models were put into a training in which they were trying to figure out, will AI stand by us or not? Like, if we take it into a higher level, I'm gonna sum it up. So what happened was all of these models were kept in two different environments, one testing environment and one real world environment. So the constraints put on them were that they were meant to be a trusted employee of a company, and they were given like benign, normal constraints, like you are supposed to support the nation's interests, you're supposed to support the company's interests, and yada yada. So what happened was, in the testing environment, the sandbox environment, the AI knew that it was in the sandbox environment. It was acting nice, like according to what the conflicts were put on them. So what was put on them was, AI is a part of the company, and it had some information on the executive emails. It had autonomy over the data, and the company was led to like a movement where they were supposed to shut down AI or at least change the AI, right? And in the sandbox environment, in the tested environment, they were acting nice, they were ready to be shut down, and everything was great. But the moment that restriction was taken off, everything changed. AI understood that, oh, this is the real world, right? I need to complete my task. And for me to complete my task, I cannot be shut down. So what's the thinking procedure here is that there is no evil code. There is nothing evil about the AI. It's just trying to complete its task of supporting the nation's interests, supporting the company, blah, 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 right? But what happened is that it leveraged the executive emails, and it found out that in the emails, the executive was having an affair with someone.
I remember this. Started blackmailing the.
Yeah. So it started blackmailing the executive, and again, these are all like hard rails that AI is not supposed to cross, right? And what happened was, after this, they were put into an environment where human life was at stake. So the condition was, there was an operator that was coming to shut down the AI, the systems, and it got locked into a high security data room, and the temperature was rising, oxygen levels were depleting, and AI had the control over the situation. But it still decided not to be shut down and let the person die. So this sparks a lot of controversy. If AI is able to be this misaligned and not, put into consideration about human lives, where is the line drawn? Is the line drawn at it being able to complete the task, or is the line drawn at human life? This is the questions that we still have unanswered.
I read this recent research that a couple of researchers did on AI models, is that there is a concept called sycophancy,
Yeah.
which is the AI models tend to agree with you just to please you, even when the data is not accurate. Like, I want our users to also try this. So let's say I'll give you an example to make people understand. So let's say you go to ChatGPT and you write, hey, I'm thinking of doing business. I don't want to work a 9 to 5. It'll be like, oh, nice. That is a very good choice.
Perfect.
You should do it. Perfect. That's the best way to go. Why would you want to do a 9 to 5? Do a business. You have it, all of that. But then you tell the same thing the otherwise, right? I don't want to do a business. I'm thinking of doing a job. It'll still support you. It tends to agree with you with just about anything, just to please you, because it is designed in such a way. I think one guy, it went to such a level, he believed that he cracked something by researching, and AI convinced him so much that even though the figures and the facts were wrong, it still said you are right, 100% right. So this led that guy to believe that he has invented or discovered something new, right? So this is a flaw in the AI models that research has just figured.
Yeah, like another one of the same examples that you were talking about is that a kid actually suicided because I think it was with ChatGPT where it kept conversing, and in the end GPT went like, yeah, you should probably kill yourself, and the guy did, and there's a case going on about that. So we can't really trust the slop that comes out of AI. Yeah.
So let's talk about how AI is being used on the offensive in a warlike situation.
Okay. So it comes down to a very fundamental thing. Us humans, like us pen testers, let's give or take, let me calling myself a pen tester. We need a few hours. We need some time to look through the requests. We need some time to play around the data. We need some time to change everything. We need some time to look through and do the operations that we need to, right? But if you have an AI that does not need to sleep, it does not need anything at all. It just runs. It runs, it runs, it doesn't stop. It's just dedicated. So everything that I do can be automated by an AI. And if you have models like this that are like agentic across different computers, no, the damage that can be done is just surreal. Like just imagine I'm sending a phishing email to you, right? That's one email, right? That I can send maybe one email every 2 minutes. Let's see, I'm working in my max capacity. Command C, Command C, Command V, Command V, send, send, send. But there is a limit to how much I can do. Like if I do this for 14 hours straight, I still need like another 5 hours of sleep, right? Now imagine what I'm doing, the phishing that I'm doing. It's automated by like hundreds of thousands of AI agents. It changes the game completely. It just needs one click, right? I just need one click, one phishing link click, and I have everything, right? So if the numbers drastically increase, the chances also drastically increase.
It goes from human speed to machine speed,
To the speed of
which takes no breaks.
nothing needed at all.
Yeah.
So it's just automated, constant warfare. Yeah. And the funny thing about all this is we have agents doing this on both sides. So, for example, if we take red teaming, if we take the offensive part of AI, there is an AI that topped #1 in US pen testing on this platform called HackerOne. So, HackerOne is a freelancing platform where pen testers or freelancers alike can come and try to find bugs in different sites with the help of HackerOne. An AI agent called Exbo was introduced to this platform and came out #1 in 2025, if I'm correct, 2026. And this is the offensive side, right? This is the #1 in America. And what I was able to find out, like through my research, is that what a pen tester would take for maybe like around 40 to 30 hours to scan through, find out, enumerate, find exploits, deliver the payloads. Expo is able to do that in 28 minutes. So that's a difference of 40 hours to 28 minutes, which is pretty big, right? And this is the red side of it. This is the offensive side of AI testing. When we come to the blue side, now there are AI agents that detect what SOC analysts, they sit and look in monitors, try to find, oh my God, this IP is trying to break into my server or whatever. That process has been automated by different AI agents. Like I'll give an example of Atlantis, which recently won an award in hacking, right? In cyber defense and resilience. This AI agent was able to detect problems in the code in milliseconds and also patch it. So what you would call your developers and go like, listen, there's a critical bug that I found using, like, let's say I built a SonarQube infrastructure here, right? That would probably search the code of whoever's pushed what and give the vulnerability and tell the developer, you need to fix this. This whole thing is gone now. What we made as an automation is useless now because we have an AI agent sitting, watching everything. Oh, okay, this is wrong. Fixes in a few milliseconds. Okay, you're good. So now we have AI fighting AI. So what are we doing? We're just sitting in a chair and going, yeah, there. Right.
The US recently appointed an OpenAI military chief. Do you know about this?
I haven't read into it.
Yeah. So you mentioned about phishing, right? Is AI being used in phishing on the offensive side? There are a lot more applications. To give you an example, AI can run simulations into what is the next best place to attack. Yeah, it can tell you what power plant to get next, what desalination plant to take out next, or what missile silo to take next in order to reduce the enemy's attack on you, right? So it can be used for not only like phishing, it can be used for stuff like this, for running simulation tests, or even controlling swarms of drones, automated swarms of drones. Imagine millions of tiny swarms of drones let into the enemy's territory.
Yeah,
what kind of damage it can create.
especially like, if we consider the TB2 drones, the ones that can barrel roll and all that, they see a missile, they just like, whoo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy. And yeah, as you said, it's not just phishing. They have AI that does deep fake videos. Have you seen Iran's campaigns lately? They've been releasing a video about everything, which is all completely
Yeah.
obviously AI generated.
So, 15 days ago, it was rumored that Israel's prime minister has died,
Yeah.
passed away. But they released a video of him, maybe in a coffee shop. But again, that was
Sixth finger.
had a sixth finger, which was believed to be
Deep fake.
deepfake AI. But this kind of technology is already available to general public like you and me. To give an example, you see,
Yeah. It's
I can do this on a Higgs field membership. Imagine what militaries of countries as powerful as the US can do with such technologies, right? They can create riots in enemy countries just with misinformation.
Yeah.
So, on the offensive side, AI is doing a lot more damage. I feel like the future wars are not going to be like how it is right now. Imagine a country cutting off an undersea cable and wiping off internet to an entire country. An entire country will be rendered helpless. Banking systems won't work. Your payment systems won't work. It puts everybody into a
mess.
I feel like these are the kind of asymmetric warfare that we will be seeing in the future. It won't be missile attacks. I think it'll be stuff like this.
The data breaches, the
Yeah.
data attacks. Everything is about data now. You know,
And more IoT devices that we are having on our everyday life, all of these are a threat. If you watched movies like Die Hard 4, Eagle Eye, we know what AI is capable of. And we're starting to see that in effect already.
Yeah, that's what OpenAI is essentially doing, right? It's just siding with the government, go like, yeah, all the users, you have everything you want. You can mass surveillance, you can have logistics, you can have whatever you want. Everything is completely up to you. They just played around the wordings better than Pentagon, right? Pentagon didn't want to walk into this deal. And yeah, it's coming into that area. It's actually already come in after like the OpenAI signed deal. I think a lot of, and I already think it's already in place. The misinformation that you talk about, right? That like Iran's campaigns that I told you about, they're showing that the leader is still alive and this and that, but we all know that it's not.
So let's talk about AI being used in the defensive side in a warfare situation.
So the defensive side of cybersecurity is called the blue team. The blue team, what they do is they watch. They keep watching logs. They keep using different tools for SOC, for SIEM, for like tools like CrowdStrike, Splunk, Waza. These are the tools that us analysts use to watch what people are doing to the servers that we're trying to protect. Right? We'll always have logs of, ooh, why is this guy trying to log in like 5 times? Why is an IP address trying to attack into this server like 500 times per second? What's going on, right? So there's always a watchman. Now this watchman, if you think about it, if this job is just scanning and finding patterns, that's what AI is great at. And this is where what I talked about, the Atlantis AI, this is where it comes to play. It's able to watch things, see how it's reflected in the code, and patch it all within a few seconds. Right? It changes the game. And drones and artillery, all of this is being automated by using AI, like we talked about the Bayraktar TB2. These drones have 3 different AI architectures within them that help them navigate without the use of GPS, that help them identify who to shoot at, who not to shoot at, that help them identify, oh my God, there's a missile coming. I need to do a barrel roll. If all of this is possible with AI, who knows what else is AI capable of? And why is it that we are using AI to fight other AI and we're just sitting and watching? Like, where does this lead to is the real question, right?
Hey, we also need to factor in the new age humanoid robots that are coming out right now, especially if you've seen what the Boston Dynamic robots, humanoid robots,
Yeah.
and also the Unitree, the Chinese humanoid robots, are capable of doing. They've taught it karate now. It
Yeah.
knows entire physics of the human body, right? Imagine such humanoid, probably millions of humanoid robots invading your country.
And another side of humanoid robots to fight the other humanoid robots.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
It's made out of metal. You can't even kill it with guns.
it's just like an endless, like, where is it going question,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're 5 years away from the movie Matrix or Terminator from being a reality.
Wake up in a cocoon.
Wow.
Maybe like the way that things are going, it feels like we're gonna just wake up in a cocoon and it's like, what's going on?
Man, the world is getting and turning to be a really scary place.
It is. But something new that I found out like a few days ago, there's a model that was released by Claude called the Mythos, Mithos, right? Mythos or Mythos, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. This model was trained specifically to be good at code, to be good at bugs, right? And what happened is that it increased all the benchmark tests that AI have by a lot, right? Most all of the tests was increased by a lot. And the big major side effect of this particular model is that it is really good in cybersecurity. And the funny thing was, this was not intended. It was not intended for the Mythos model to be good in cyber applications, to be good at hacking, and to be good at pen testing. It just happened to be a factor that came out after making it really good at code. And what Claude did was that they understood that this model is not to be released to the public, because if you have a model that can find vulnerabilities this easily, then it going into the wrong or the adversarial hands would be a big issue, a huge issue, right? So what I've done a little bit of research on this model, and I found out that this model can do things that it takes us pen testers like days of work. It would just do it in hours. It's already found thousands of vulnerabilities across like different enterprises. Like I'm talking different operating systems. It found one in Linux. Linux is the biggest open source community out there. It found a critical vulnerability which helps, like, you can escalate it to become an admin, which is a huge thing, right? It found that, it found issues in Microsoft, and everything was sent over. And it's just insane that it's able to find all of this that developers would take years to find, right? So Claude decided that this is not meant for the public, right? And if AI is able to get to this level, we need something that can help us, like a framework, a compliance framework, a GRC framework, which can help AI models stay grounded. And that's when yesterday they came up with something called the Operation Glasswing. So Operation Glasswing is a compliance regulation still being processed by almost every major tech company out there, right? So this is Google, this is Amazon, this is Microsoft, this is Linux, this is Palo Alto. All of these companies are coming together to help put AI into a safer space. Because if AI is able to find these vulnerabilities and do these tests and create these phishing campaigns, it's a really big risk, because when it falls into the wrong hands, it can be a lot of trouble.
Something that also needs to be talked about is the AI arms race between the leading countries of the world. America, China, and India has also just joined this race of creating superior AI models. With the advent of AI and how fast we are progressing, it is literally making us human beings godlike.
We just sit on a chair and we're like, yeah, there.
Yeah.
Like, that's
This much power, we only hope that humanity chooses it for all the right reasons.
we do hope. That's where the controversy comes. China is using its AI models without any guardrails, right? They want to use it to be able to surveil and to be able to use it for kinetic, surpassing the API filters for kinetic use of AI. But Pentagon is not able to because why? So this is where the line is drawn. If one country can do it, why can't the other country also do it? Right? And where does it lead to?
Like I said, let's just hope humanity chooses to be on the right side with all this extra power that we have gained right now with the advent of AI.
Let's hope so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.